Let's read Gunt of the Century by Fat Matthew Vickers. This is supposed to be his last post relating to the Gunt. Before addressing the absolute weak sauce that the Gunt somehow considers a counterattack, I suppose I should address the elephant in the room. No, not me. I'm more like a hippo. The Gunt has leaked 3 paragraphs of my 3-page goodbye letter to Faith. I've gone back and read through the complete letter in its entirety, have included it in this post, and stand by every word, caring nothing for what anyone else may think of it. Of course, the Gunt leaves out relevant context. This is the letter that I sent to Faith with the ID documents that Faith requested by writing because she refused to speak with us. This was after she requested that we fly out to Virginia and rescue her and put us through hell for no apparent reason. I will not now or ever apologize for being pissed off about that. I will not apologize for one word in that letter. Ariana and I did nothing wrong. Funny. I wonder if the Gunt will ever post a picture of that shirt we included in the package that we bought Faith at Mount Vernon. Doubtful. But moving on. Father of the Year. Response. Italics. The killstream has been the biggest and most successful thing I've ever done online. But of course, it wasn't my first known venture. You're on that one right now. Congratulations. I feel bad about letting this place stay dormant these past couple months, but the show and my rocky personal life has taken up most of my time. Your rocky personal life is 100% your choice. The person who you choose to be with came with baggage. Not only her personal baggage, which you knew nothing about because you did not court her over a reasonable period of time. Anyone who doesn't examine potential in-laws during courtship isn't thinking about the long game. Napoleon, that's a little inside joke for the Gunt. That situation is what brings me here in the first place. Actually, whenever I'm really feeling like shit or just want to vent, I start typing. Because even after almost 700 kill streams, the written word is how I really express my thoughts. It's cathartic for me. Touching. Matthew Vickers and his wife, Ariana, have spent the better part of the last 2 months spreading baseless claims about me and accusations about me online in retaliation for me dating their daughter, Faith. Baseless. We have told no lies about you, Gunt. Point to one, and I'll be happy to retract a statement or provide evidence of the truth. Your problem is that you keep defending yourself with vague statements because you know that if you go into details about your part in this affair, you come out to seem which you are, the villain. You are only partially right about one thing here. Ariana and I are retaliating against you because you are dating Faith. In reality, there's a laundry list of reasons that have spurred our retaliation. Let's go over them, shall we? Number 1. You had unprotected sex with Faith in an attempt to get her pregnant from day 1 that you met in person. 2. You supplied Faith An 18-year-old girl with alcohol in LA at Herrera's house, in your hovel in Richmond, and apparently at Digibro's house. This is a crime. Whether or not anyone will take action against you in this current environment, who knows? But it is a crime. You committed it, and you know that I have evidence to that fact. This calls into question about her ability to consent. Number 3, you supplied Faith, an 18-year-old girl, with recreational marijuana. She has the medicinal card, but you are not a licensed medicinal dispensary. Weak, especially in California. But still, if crime. Number 4, you were with another woman at the same time you were in LA having constant, unprotected sex with Faith. Number 5, you released revenge porn against Faith, then agreed to break it off and send her home, then back down because you were afraid that she would press charges. More evidence that you are absolutely guilty of this crime. Number 6, you have apparently gotten her pregnant before she even turned 19. Are you serious? Number 7, your attempts to have a child for solely selfish reasons. You know full well that you've put yourself and Faith in a statistical sled ride towards disaster. You have a kid when it's the right thing to do. Not because you feel like your living hard life is catching up with you and you just guts to know what it's like to be a daddy. Number 7 has multiple parts to it. Number 7.1. You two haven't even known each other for 8 months at the time of this writing. 7.2. You two were saying that you love each other after 2 days of texting. 7.3. Faith's Discord DMs to you read like a 12 to 14-year-old girl. Yours don't read much better. But knowing the otherwise adult, if not utterly mediocre, quality of your writing, you were obviously trying to come down to her level. Grooming much. Just because she's 18 doesn't mean she can't be manipulated. Number 4, you have nothing to teach a child. You cannot lead by example. You are a piece of shit. And I can hear the fireside rendition of How I Met Your Mother now. How pathetic that you can't even tell your own children the truth of how her parents got together. Fuck. It makes me sick. Number 8. Faith strung you along to make you believe that Ariana and I were okay with her going to meet you in LA. And you found out that she had to lie to us to get our approval. You assisted her in that deception. Number 9. You promised me that you were going to you were not giving her alcohol. You lied. Number 10. You released revenge porn. Number 11. You released revenge porn. Number 12. You released revenge porn. Even though that list very carefully, read through that list very carefully, you're emotionally stunted, worthless wretch of a man-child. None of what I have written is baseless. You just lack the ability to take responsibility for your own pathetic, abhorrent actions. Instead of, actually giving a fuck about Faith, they have waged a campaign of destruction. Public destruction against me and my show. You gotta stop them, Gator. Yep. You poor, stupid, brain-dead Maker's Mark zombie. We do care about Faith. You are destroying her life. Because we care about her, we must necessarily seek your destruction. You may as well ask me to just sit back and watch you beat her. No, you gelatinous, shouting coward. I'm not saying that you beat her. Something that we have in common. But what we are doing here, but what you are doing to her is, in our opinion, just as bad and could have more substantial long-term damage. Since I'm literally known for being an asshole and arguably a piece of shit, it hasn't really had all that much of an effect on the kill stream itself. But I would be lying to you if I said it hasn't had an effect on her and I. Your being known as an asshole is not your problem. But you seem to take pride in it. Mr. Vickers, that should have read, you being an asshole is your problem, but whatever. Arguably, a piece of shit. Who would argue? You would be lying to everyone if you said it hasn't had an effect. Well, you are a liar if the shoe fits. The only way that any of this has any effect on Faith at all is if you bring her into it. This crusade is against you, shortly, not her. If you let her get hurt by it, that's on you, because we're not attacking her. We are attacking you. To make a long story short, their daughter has chosen to live with me, and they simply cannot handle it. Her choices do not bother us nearly as much as your acceptance of her choice. She's 18 and supposed to make stupid decisions. You have no excuse. She's pregnant with my child, and they can't accept it. We accept it, and we are horrified by it. Every reasonable person in the world would be horrified by it. What fucking world do you come from where you think that this is the right or smart move? For you? For Faith? For your child? A man, by all other men, can be judged by nothing more than the sum of his actions. You should judge yourself by the same measure and feel utter contempt for your own character because of these things that you have done. Despite Faith herself publicly asking them to stop with their provocations, they refuse. Faith could have asked us personally, but we heard your words in her mouth. Like you, Faith never answered for anything wrong that she did. Like you, she refuses to accept responsibility for repugnant acts. Unlike you, she's very young and inexperienced in the world. She's been out of the house and dependent on you for what, barely over 2 months? You are a giant child, stomping his great gaunt hooves on the ground, shouting, I didn't do nothing. But when you are called on your degeneracy, you sit back and cry, why is everyone so mean? That you are surprised at our hatred of you. And our disappointment and Faith literally makes me want to drink myself stupid. But that's your job. And I wouldn't dare face off against you in that battlefield. They're sick people. They seem to be enjoying this whole thing. Even on you, apparently soon to be Gunt father. I would not wish the pain that you have visited upon us by actions that you find completely reasonable. You have but to ask yourself one question. If your child is a girl, would you want her doing what Faith did? If your answer is anything but a resounding no, then you have no business procreating. The cretinous Berg, who calls himself a father, is plotting to write a book about this whole affair. Thanks, from the bottom of my heart, for taking that bait. Notice how I never said I would try to make money off it. Did you ever stop to consider that it was intentional? Oh, I'll still probably try to write a book about this horror story. If for no other reason than to create a cautionary tale for other parents whose young daughters may fall prey to your kind. But if by some wild stretch it can make money, I'll set up a trust fund for our grandchild. The kid will need it. Cretinusberg. Cretinusberg. Love it. Keep 'em coming, Gunt. I guess that will make up for the shitty screenplays he's been writing for over these years. Be fair, Gunt. You've never read any of my screenplays. I'll send them to you if you want to give me notes. But a masterful move on your part to claim that I'm a grifter by being the first one of us to mention my hobby publicly. Fucking classic. Like 99.9% of the population, you have probably never read a Matthew Vickers screenplay. The same percentage of the population has never heard of the killstream. At least, I don't depend on my shitty screenplay to make a living. Last night, they had 300 people watching. On D Live, a website that you can fake the numbers by opening multiple tabs. But now he has me to write about. People finally care about his words. The E-fame is within reach. There are no villains, no fictional beasts, no horror movie monster as vile as you. Who wouldn't want to write about you? You're practically a fairy tale monster. Thanos snapping happy families and bragging about it like you're some damned hero. Rumpelstiltskin takes away firstborn children to punish people. You put them in. Guntelskildston. That's good. Sadly, I have to point out that if I have garnered any E-fame at all, it is only because so many people hate you so much. But since I've already made clear that would go away if you would stop fucking up Faith's life, any of the supposed E-fame that you claim I want is really on you. If you stop being such a piece of shit, I'm sure my popularity would fall off the face of the earth. And then I would be happy, because my daughter would not be with a piece of shit. Win-win. This piece of trash doesn't give a single fuck about his daughter, who writes stuff like this to their kid. Certainly not a level-headed, caring individual, that's for sure. In the public, he tries to portray her as mentally ill, but in private, he sends nasty letters, dripping with scorn and derision. He's a phony, plain and simple. Desperate situations call for desperate measures. I stand by every word of the 3 paragraphs you shared, and I stand by every word of the entire letter posted here. Faith is absolutely mentally ill, but she's still an adult, as you both are constantly eager to remind everybody, and obviously knows the difference between right and wrong. So, I'm going to speak to her as an adult. On this apparently what he wants, by the way, more dirty laundry, more back and forth allegations. It feeds it all, which I'm well aware of. Monitoring situations like this is actually my job. It has been for a long time. But at a certain point, what can you do? What can you do? You could not knock up a vulnerable 18-year-old girl that you groomed on the internet. You could stop excessively drinking. You could get a real job. You could stop breaking the law. You could visit my long list of grievances above and try to do something about changing your fucked up degenerate life instead of pretending that I'm attacking faith when you know damn well that I'm attacking you. I don't think I have anything to add going forward, though. Faith is pregnant, and they are apparently determined to fuck with us all the way through. You bet your big old gunt ass we are. I could think of nothing worse for a child than the environment you have created. Your problem is that one day, Faith is going to wake up. She's going to quickly outlive the new freedom that she's had for 8 to 9 weeks and realize that real life, is much, much more difficult than her perceived grievances with us. Once that baby comes out, and you're too drunk and passed out to get up and deal with it, that's when she's going to start to realize what a fucking chump she chose to father her child. Still, I thought it would be good to throw out a little light on the Vindictive Vickers duo for a change. For a change? What have you been reading, Gunty? The spotlight we're shining on you necessarily shines a light on us. The difference between you and us is that we're not a couple of thin-skinned pussies. There are plenty of people who have been perfectly clear to share negative thoughts about us. We just don't care. You say you don't care but you seem intent to respond to every little slight thrown your way. It is a phenomenal train wreck to behold. Faith and I have cut all contact with them now, but who knows what they have in store? Ariana and I know. Maybe Fat Matt has a muscle he wants to make about this whole affair. A musical he wants to make about this whole affair. Musical ideas. Fats. Phantom of the Opera. Les Fat Miserables. Gunta Mia. Gunt. Fat Matt and the Gunt. Oh, I don't care. As long as there's dancing and we get Andrew Lloyd Webber on board. Call your agent. Let's make it happen. Between the two of us, we should be able to break 500-pound collaboration mark. I think there's a Tony Award for that category. Or he could crowdfund an indie game. Maybe open a Patreon or some shit and print up merch. He's already mentioned that, by the way. The options are limitless for a scumbag like him. Maybe I could do a live stream where I can't pay attention to my show because I'm too busy reading shitposts and seething at my friends. Be my muse, Gunt. Guide me on the grift. Who makes your Killstream stickers? Where do you get your Lacquer's logo ripoff, LA Killstream shirts printed? I wanted to look, but I had to scroll through a bunch of ads going through your blog posts. Imagine trying to fucking grift off the back of your own daughter's tragedy. Her life is quite the tragedy now, thanks to you. How fucking tanked you were when you wrote that line. Is there a lower form of human besides pedophiles? So is he calling out Dax Herrera? Because I'm pretty sure Dax Herrera is you can't defend it unless you are anymore. How I believe. Only you, Gunt. Only you. I certainly can't think of any off the top of my head. But that's the reality for Mr. Vickers. I know I make a lot of noise about going low, but this fucker has taken the proverbial cake and scarfed it down whole in one sitting. Fat Matt, do you love me some fucking cake? Sadly, I don't have an internet picture memorizing me holding a cake.
You went up to me again, you sly dog. One day, Gunt, I'll prove that. I'll prove that I love cake more than you.
This has been my life for the last 2 months.
You can't seem you can't get out of your own head long enough to make any considerations of your part in this sad shit show. All blame throwing, no self reflection.
Oh, and I mustn't forget the people taking pot shots from every direction imaginable. Every every opportunistic, no talent hack you could think of has come out and tried to prop themselves off my situation and Vickers' lies.
Again, with the vague accusations. Tell me what lies fate Fat Matt has visited upon the innocent Gunt. We're all waiting. We are all want to know. But stop to consider for just one moment. These no talent hacks, these people taking pot shots from every direction. Who gives them their ammunition? You degenerate wretch. Is it the parents who are angry that some fucking worthless turd is holding their daughter's hand as the Pied Piper as he Pied Piper her off a bridge to white trash ruin? Or is it the turd himself?
Suppose our friends have taken shots, randoms in my missions with this nonsense on the daily. I would be lying to you if I said it was fun. It's tiring, and it's meant to be. They hope to wear me down, and I wasn't such a spiteful son of a if I wasn't such a spiteful son of a bitch, they would probably already have won. Their hate, while annoying, sometimes even detrimental, is also my fuel.
Because you assume that the hate is unwarranted. You have earned our hatred, Gunt. Others can have whatever problem they with you that they want. But our grievance is real. You wanted us in the mud. You wanted us to play it your way. You can't get your wish and be pissed off about it.
By God, you motherfuckers. I now have a full fucking tank, and it's about time to hit the open road.
You better hit that open road alone. With your back to us. Drive away, Gunt. Drive away fast. Best regards. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I know I had some comments, but I'll let you guys comment down below.